up. And it's up for grabs, no remorse of who I'm taking it from. Numbers I give on my scoreboard is the only form of us staying in touch, that's saying enough. It's time to receive for all of the favors I've done. Too late for y'all to switch teams, everybody getting big leagues. Product flying out the shelf, what's in store for us? Known to hit a hole in one, look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whatever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down, sticking to them by sticking around. The gang all on, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground, setting up shop. Think I got the message across, came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jazz. Shout out to Steve. The boy getting love from the harsh critics. Strauss hit me bi-weekly to tell me keep taking it further. You aren't finished and I gotta listen. Ain't he son of believing and see that I'm actually breathing and doing it real time. Love to pull an idea out thin air, act on it and profit in real life. If we not aligned, don't present me a dotted line. Yeah, I'm a QB, but I ain't handing out nothing for someone to monetize. And it goes to the birds too. Can't give it a time if a dollar's a cut of eyes. They get X'd out for they had the potential to be my ex. I know how to plays, I'm a seasoned vet. Yeah. Always showing up, known to hit a hole in one. Look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whoever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down, sticking to them by sticking around. The gang all on, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground, setting up shop. Think I got the message across, came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Time's close, I whittled them down, sticking to them by sticking around. The gang all on, Iwo Jima got one flag, yeah.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the final edition of the Roundup for 2025. Yes, I cannot believe it, but we are on episode 6 of 6, our state baseball show with me, Big League Berardi, brought to you by the great folks at Graham Auto Mall. Summer's here. Go ahead, get yourself a new car, drive down the Miracle Mile and check out the people at Graham to do that. Get your vehicle there today. They're awesome, and they have been awesome for sponsoring this show all year long. Final episode, but all the same great things that you are used to seeing here. Brian Skowronski here one more time for the Diamond Cuts. I have last week's chart topper and our final nominees for the season. Our shout-outs from the state Final Four and championship games in baseball and talk of the town. And the best thing I saw coming up just here momentarily. But first, let's take a look at the scoreboard from the state championships at Thurman Munson Stadium and Canal Park in Akron. We have 3 semifinal scores from our area teams and then the 7 championship games. First, Newark Catholic comes back to knock off Calvert 6-4. Seneca score first with a few runs, but Newark Catholic, a big late rush, gets them into the state championship game. Calvert, for the 3rd time in 4 seasons, makes it to the Final Four, but yet to make the title game. I apologize, Calvert fans. We're trying not to be jinxes. We just want to cover you guys. Hopefully that is not us that do it. Next year, maybe. Next year is going to be a good squad for Calvert as well. So, yeah, look out. We'll hopefully be back there with them to see a win and then a state championship. Waynedale, the Golden Bears, 1 versus 2. There were 3 games this past weekend at the state championships that featured 1 and 2 teams. 2 of them were in the state championship games. This one in the D5 semifinal. Coldwater was up 1-0 late, but a Cam Miller 2 RBI single with 2 outs and 2 strikes on him brings home the runs, keeps the hopes for a 3rd championship alive in 4 seasons for the Golden Bears. They win that one 2-1. You can watch that game back anytime on our Facebook and YouTube you'll want to. It was a great game. Perkins also using their speed once again knocks off Indian Hill. The Cinderella, the shoe fits into the state championship game. They hold off. They score 4 runs. They go up 4-0 and then hold off 3 Indian Hill runs in the 7th, but it's not enough. Perkins heading to the title game. Now to our championship games. Olentangy scored 2 in the first inning, and that was enough for them. They knock off Springboro 2-1. It's their first state championship in their second Final Four appearance. Anthony Wayne, the softball team's pretty darn good, but the baseball team, they get themselves a state title this year, knocking off Amherst Steel 7-3 in the D2 title game. It's also their first state championship in their third appearance, all 3 appearances coming since 2018. Licking Valley only needed 1 run to knock off University School in the D3 state championship, 1-0. They make the most of their first ever appearance, going all the way for the D3 title. Lake Catholic scores 3 late against Perkins. Perkins unable to score a couple runs on a squeeze play that was botched. Also a steal of home that was thrown out, holding off Perkins' Cinderella attempt at a state championship, but they do finish as D4 state runners-up. Lake Catholic, though, in their third appearance of the Final Four, first appearance in a title game, they head home with the gold. It's title number 3 for the Golden Bears as they knock off Graham Local 3-0. As the senior class from Waynedale finishes with 3 state championships as well as a regional title. We'll talk about them more here coming up. It's a three-peat for Highland and the Hawks for their 4th title overall, to go with 3 runner-up finishes and 8 Final Four appearances. They walked off Lake Center Christian after Lake Center Christian put up 4 in the top of the 7th. They won it 5-4. In our final game of the year, Minster blanking Newark Catholic in the D7 title game, 8-0. The Wildcats make their 5th finals appearance in 6 Final Four trips and walk out as champions for the 4th time. So there are your scoreboard for the final time, brought to you by Graham Auto Mall. Now for the best thing I've seen in the last week, and it is those Golden Bears of Waynedale. In 4 years, a regional championship for this senior class that started off their freshman year in one heck of a game. You can go back and watch the highlights of it against Edison, that state championship. Just Otto Solanzaro, 9 innings in that game. They end up walking off for that. The next year, Harrison Central, they just dominated them in 5 innings, 10-0. Last year's tough loss to Heath, but then this year, it just all came together. Coming back late to beat number 2 Coldwater, and then a phenomenal sophomore pitching performance in the state championship game. The next Shane Koblenz, the next Trey Barkman. Waynedale just continuing to put up pitchers, so you've got to think next year they'll be favorites once again. But this senior class, just a phenomenal season for them. I am, though, going to miss the phenomenal mustache from one Tristan Franks, although I believe the mustache still has 1 year of eligibility left, so we'll have to find out if he can come back next year. But what a run by Waynedale, and it's been a pleasure to cover them so far, and we look forward to seeing them next season. So there's the last best thing I've seen this past week on our final episode, and now it is time to send it over to Brian Skowronski one final time for his Diamond Cuts. Take it away, sir.
Thank you, Big League. Man, it is always bittersweet anytime something comes to a conclusion that was a lot of fun, and we definitely had a bunch of that over this last week on the OH Report. 3 teams that we worked with all made it to Akron. 2 of them made it to the final day of the season, and I know they say the Diamonds are a lady's best friend, but the fellas certainly like to shine as well. So without further ado, the final time this season, let's meet your 5 nominees for the Diamond Cut of the Week. It is time to meet your noms for Diamond Cuts, all brought to you by Graham Ford. Nothing but state baseball highlights on the countdown this week, beginning with just the 3rd team in Ohio history to three-peat, thanks to plays like this in right field where it was Miller time. Slick gliding snag from Highland Jr. Mike Miller, who now has 3 gold medals, walk-off 5-4 win over Lake Center for the D6 title. Final Four action in D5. State number 2 Coldwater has the lead on Waynedale, and they are staying in front for now. Sensational diving effort at short from sophomore Carson Holman, robbing the Golden Bears of a base hit. Division I title game, Olentangy trying to add onto their one-run lead, but Springborough's Ben Valentine ain't having it. Lunging for the bag, and he'll get the force out at third. Mama's going to need some of that Gain Ultra for the Jersey rinse cycle. Full extension in the dirt for the backhand stop to keep the Braves off the board. At number 2, Perkins looking to play some small ball, but not on A.J. Trobenner's watch. Flips the lid, makes the snag, and he will double up the Pirates to steal all of the momentum. Lake Catholic brings home the first state championship back to Mentor with this play sparking the Cougars' comeback. But at number 1, the Golden Bears are golden yet again. Up 1-0 in the 5th, and that's where the score will remain. Jordan Miller applying the tag on a rocket throw from the man with the magnificent mustache. Sophomore Logan Troyer rings him up, then senior backstop Tristan Franks gonna gun him down as Wayndell brings home the 3rd state title trophy in 4 years back to Apple Creek. 3-0 win over St. Paris Grain. So there you have it, folks, the 5 best defensive plays from a phenomenal weekend in Akron. And we had all of the state championships. So if you want to spin it back, go check out our Facebook and our YouTube channels. Actually, all of them. We've got highlights from every single game. And then you can tell me, were those the 5 best plays from the weekend? Do the Golden Bears belong at number 1? Let me know in the comment section below. So that was the defense, but you guys all love offense, don't you? We have got your greatest hits coming up here. Big League, he's on deck.
When you buy a Ford, you're buying American. You're buying a car, truck, or SUV built in Michigan, Missouri, Kentucky, and Ohio. Built by Americans, for Americans, in America. No tariffs, no price increase. You pay what we pay with Ford employee pricing for all. Ford Country. Everything we do is driven by you.
For the final time in 25, it is time for Big League's weekly top 40 minus 35. This is the greatest hits. Spinning it for you one more time, but before I do, it is time to take a look at last week's chart topper. Hit it. It's Perkins' Bryce Davey. His Inside the Park regional semifinal home run helped extend the Pirates' lead that they would hold on to versus Upper Sandusky and help springboard Perkins to a D4 state championship appearance. Bryce Davey holding off Maddie Reber, who had a chance of going back-to-back for the first time ever on the greatest hits, but he beats her by 10 votes to take the honor for week number 5. And now, it is time to unveil the final greatest hits nominees for this season on the Roundup. Hit me with the horn, Tony! You know, Christmas in July is coming up, and a holiday hit starts the countdown to 1958 and Chuck Berry as Perkins' Talon Walton was running like Rudolph. Run, run, Walton, you are gonna make it to home. He steals second base and then scores on the overthrow to start the scoring in the state semifinal. Run, run, Walton, you are gonna make it to home. Our second nominee comes from the Jackson 5 as Wayndale's Cam Miller provided the biggest hit of his career with a 2-out, 2-strike, 2 RBI single to help defeat Coldwater, propelling the Golden Bears to another state title that's ABC. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Cam Miller, 2 RBI single. Numero Trace takes us to 2001 and Jimmy Eat World. Lake Catholic is down 2-0 in the state title game before A.J. Trobenner just takes some time, hit the ball up the middle, score the runs, win the game, win the game. This 2 RBI single tied the game up and helped the Cougars to a title. To number 4 in 1993, tag team back again, and so were the Calvert Senecas in a Final Four as Blake Coleman will bring it back, y'all. Here we go. Whoop, there it is. This RBI double brought them back to within 1 late in the state semis. Our final nominee of the season is once again from Queen and the Highland Hawks. Yins want to sing along with me as Logan Yoder walks us off. We are the champions, my friend. It's a walk-off to win the D6 title and complete the three-peat. There are your nominees for this week's chart topper. Representatives are not standing by, but you can vote once in the comments section below, with the winner being announced on Facebook next week. And that is it. The last time spinning things up for the greatest hits on the Roundup for 2025, brought to you by Graham Auto Mall. But we are not done. It is now time to take a look at the shoutouts from the state Final Four and championship games in our edition of Talk of the Town, brought to you by Graham Auto Mall.
I would like to shout out my mom, my dad, my little brother, Malone Hutchison, who's our catcher. Best backstop in the state, personally. I wouldn't want to throw it to anybody else. And shout out to my fellow senior, the only two, Mikey Hess. One more game, baby. Here we go.
I'll shout out the whole community showing up, Lord Jesus Christ, and just all my teammates, because they really tough this one out.
Shout out my parents, coaches who help me. I want to shout out Cameron Zollner. He helps me every single time warm up, and if I didn't have him, I wouldn't be able to pitch, so he's the guy.
Shout out to all the fans, all my coaches, all my brothers on the team. Couldn't be here without them. Couldn't do any of this without everyone here. You know, everyone who's helped me through my baseball career, so I just want to say thank you to everyone.
My catcher, T. Franks, for being with me all year, my defense around me, and my family.
Before we wrap things up, I had to bring Brian in just one more time, and I hope you don't mind. I'm already getting into vacation mode. Got the Hawaiian shirt going on. I know this is our last, major stream we have before we go into summer mode. So, I just thought it was nice. It's warm outside, still representing some baseball, but had to look good.
I'm impressed that you have closed-toed shoes on. I figured you'd have your toesies poking out a little bit here, maybe even bring in a little bit of sand, a couple of lazy boys really fill it out. But here we are doing work for the last time before we hit the summer months, Trav. So let's end with a bang, baby.
Yeah, and I mean, the OHSA did with the state championships up at Canal Park. We were there all week. It seemed like those 4 days was just one long continuous day. We should have just got cots in the suite they gave us. But it was a fun week. It was very, very rewarding once it all came to an end. But we were able to break down all 7 games with highlights and live streams. Well, not live streams, but you know what I mean, folks. Delayed. We'll go on.
We were there for all of them.
We were there for all of them, yeah.
Check the channel. We got it all.
Yeah. But let's start with Division I. Olentangy taking on Springboro. It was a game I did a highlight for, and it was like a D1 game. You had a lot of pitching. Olentangy scored in the bottom of the first for 2. Springboro answered in, I believe, the 3rd inning with 1, but that was it. And then it was just a dominant pitching performance by both sides the rest of the way. Had a couple diamond cuts that, one made your top 5 list. But, yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, Olentangy allows all the offense in that 3rd inning. Cam Birch, the winning pitcher, gives up 3 hits there. Nothing after that. So what a performance to settle down in that type of environment, big league park, and then get the first championship ever in school history. And Tim Street saying afterwards that the Olentangies, they've been cleaning house so far. They've got a lot of gold medals back there in that community.
Yeah, Liberty won a state football championship. Olentangy Orange, and a highlight you can see on the OH report from basketball, winning the state basketball title, and then you just saw Olentangy with the state baseball championship. So congratulations, Olentangy. Kind of the O looks like the O from Ontario, but we're not going to get into that conversation.
Trademark?
Kidding, just joking. But anyway, let's move on. Division II, Anthony Wayne, Amherst Steel. Anthony Wayne, we see him a lot in softball, but now baseball gets themselves a state championship.
Another cool matchup between the top 2 teams in the state. You love seeing this, where the best actually make it to the end of the season. First title in 3 trips for Anthony Wayne. 5-0 they led out of the gates there in the first 3 innings. And that's what they needed, was just to be able to get a little bit of the pressure off, trying to earn that first chip, it's always tough, man. There's a lot of pressure on you, and you're feeling a little bit of anxiety. So to get ahead, I think early on in the game ended up kind of leading them to the championship. So shout out to the Generals getting it done. You mentioned on the softball diamond, and now capturing one in baseball. So they got it going on, just like the Olentangies do as well, all at that one school. They've been in the mix for a lot of different sports too. We saw a Final Four for girls basketball as well. So just the run of athletes that they're having right now, probably unparalleled to what they've had in a long time.
Yeah, 1 run in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, enough to get them the state championship. Now to Division III, Licking Valley and University School. 1 run. That's all they needed.
Yeah.
1 run in the bottom of the fourth for Licking Valley as they hold University School to only 3 hits.
It was a pitcher duel. I watched a lot of this one. Complete game 3-hitter for Evan Roberts. He gets the win. Crew Bellin, too, was also really good. Only gave up 4 hits that 1 run. And the first appearance for both teams, and we've talked at length about it. Now with the 7 divisions, it's opening things up for schools like this to have their opportunity to make it to the last day of the season. And even though there wasn't a lot of offense, it was a fun game. It felt like it was really anxiety-driven, and you just didn't know where it was going to be, hanging in the balance the entire time. So just 1 run between the 2 teams. And University School, you could tell that this was a team that was really embraced by the community. One of the best fan bases that we saw all weekend long, I think, unquestionably. But somebody had to win the game, and Licking Valley gets it done, their first chip.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Now to a game that you and I did. The state championship in Division IV, Perkins and Lake Catholic. Perkins, 1 run in the first, 1 run in the second. They had a chance, I believe, in the third, but got a play at the plate on a ground ball, infield in. They had late, they had a chance with a squeeze bunt to try and tie the game, but it was called foul.
Yeah.
They had a guy thrown out at the plate. They scored those first 2 runs first and the second. Lake Catholic puts a 3 spot up in the 5th, and that holds on even though Perkins loads the bases with 2 out. Has their lone senior up with a chance, but he popped it up and ended the game. What a game. What a run for Cinderella.
It was really cool to latch on to these Pirates and see what they were able to accomplish. Dylan Crabtree, that lone senior that you were talking about, also he had the gall to be able to talk to me after the game, which I really appreciated. I put my arm around him a little bit, and I was just like, hey, we'd love for you to be the representative and talk about the school. And he said, I would love to do it for you guys. And great community support the entire time, and really glad that we got an opportunity to see them get to that level. And it felt like a team of destiny. When they score in the first, they score in the second.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I've been seeing the entire tournament run. They've only played from behind 1 time the entire tournament, and Lake Catholic, they had to come from behind win in the Final Four. I saw the last few moments of that game, and then that big inning for them. But Tyler Rebar, he was the story to me in the game.
He came in relief.
3 2/3 inning. He only allows the 1 hit, Travis. Even though he loaded up the bases at the end of the game, he was able to calm things down. He got the outs when he needed to. So to me, that was the real MVP of the game. But phenomenal game. I would say probably the second best game of the weekend. We're about to get to the best here in a minute, but hats off to the Pirates, obviously, for making that run. Each of these teams, the first time that they've made it to the final day of the season, and Lake Catholic, they got some hardware to bring back home to Mentor for the first time.
I was getting into the ballpark about 8 a.m. They already had fans in the parking lot tailgating. That's how crazy it is. Now to Division V, Waynedale, after that phenomenal 2-1 victory over Coldwater, plays Graham Local, a wrestling powerhouse, but making it to the D5 baseball championship game. And Graham Local gave their best shot at number 1 in D5. It was 1-0 through 5 innings. They had first and second, but the mustachioed man, Tristan Franks, on a bunt attempt, whiffed on the bunt. Franks, nobody told him to do this either, chucks it down to second, picks off the guy at second. The next pitch is a strikeout, and that flipped the game on its head. Waynedale adds 2 in in the 6th inning, and then they complete their 3rd championship in 4 years.
What a complete team from top to bottom. The senior leadership, all the winning they've done, that's cascading down. You see kids like Logan Troyer. He only had to throw 72 pitches in the game, and that's not just because he's a stud.
He's a sophomore.
Because they've got the backstop like a Tristan Franks and the outfield that they had. Obviously, Miller's been a 3-year starter there at shortstop, so this team probably destined for more greatness, Travis. You got to salute what they did. The Golden Bears get it done again. Man, that little town at the Apple Creek, they just keep breeding more championship success. So hats off to Doc and what he's been able to do with that program. Only 5 years he's been there. How about 4 straight Final Four appearances, 3 state chips? They are a dynasty right now. as it stands, but in the making still too, because they've got a lot of young talent coming back.
Yeah, we got to add another year onto the hat. That was from back to back. Now they got 3 in 4 years. That senior class, 3 state championships and a regional title. Again, hats off to you guys. Now the Division 6. We thought you and I were in the suite thinking, okay, this is going to be done. It's 3-0 going. It's 3-1 going into the 7th inning. Lake Center Christian, they're done. It's Highland. They're going to win their 3rd in a row. Then Lake Center Christian puts up 3 in the top of the 7th. They are 3 outs away from the biggest upset of the weekend. But no, it's Highland. They put 2 on immediately. They walk them off 5-4. They complete the 3-peat. For a team that I thought, they've been a constant power, but they're like Waynedale. It's been recent when they've made their state title runs and things like that. So another dynasty in the making, coming from only a few miles away from Apple Creek.
And only a few families competing in the game. If you like Koblenz's, Yoders, and Millers, boy, was that the game for you. They were pitching, hitting, fielding. They were all over the place. And I asked you right before that top half of the 7th inning, I said, you feeling like there's a comeback in them? And you were like, no, it's Highland. And what happens? All of a sudden they start manufacturing runs. I don't even think they got a hit in that 7th inning, right?
No.
Just somehow, some way they put a 3 spot on the board. They take the lead, but au contraire, mon frere, you knew it was going to happen. Championship DNA, it just oozes out of those Hawks. They're the #1 team from start to finish for a reason. They get the hits when they need them at the end of the game. You kind of knew it was going to happen, right? Even though they were down, you just never count them out, because from top to bottom, I think it's the best hitting lineup in terms of just the clutch gene, and when they need it at the right time, they were able to find it. So we got to salute the Hawks too, just like the Golden Bears. How about 3 chips over the last 4 years, and just the 3rd team in the history of the state of Ohio to win 3 in a row.
Yeah, congratulations to Highland. Now to our final game. It was the first state championship game to go off on Friday, and it is Minster Newark Catholic. Minster and Russia, it felt like that was the state championship game, the semifinal, because Minster just comes out. They put up 5 in the 2nd inning, and they just rolled from there. 8-0 over Newark Catholic in the D7 final.
Yeah, they showcase these cats that they've got 9 lives up and down the order. Everybody's got a live bat. And the pitching performance was fantastic from Caleb Coos. Just a 3-hit shutout. Great backup from his defense, too. So I think I would make the argument of every team that I saw on the state level, they had the most complete performance. Obviously, they get the shutout. The defense was awesome, and everybody got a hit in the lineup. Everybody was eating. It just felt like a team that it didn't matter, like you said. The winner of that state Final Four game between them and the Raiders, that was the game that you kind of identified as, wow, if you can beat Russia, you're probably pretty good. Yeah. And shout out to Newark Catholic, obviously a perennial powerhouse. They were looking for their 10th overall state championship. Sometimes you got to share with some of the others. 4th title in 5 appearances for the Wildcats. What a great team. Be interesting to see if they're able to reproduce that, because obviously there was a lot of veterans on that squad.
Yeah, and a lot of championships this weekend given out. A lot of new champions, like we said. Again, cool. We said this after softball. We said this after basketball for girls and boys. The 7 divisions. Once you get to the regional round, extremely competitive, and it was fun. It's been a long 2 weeks for us, but a lot of fun softball and baseball we got to see.
Yeah, not really bags under our eyes now. You slept until 1 o'clock, you said, after the last day of baseball.
On Monday, yeah.
And I slept in back-to-back days as well. I'm normally kind of an early riser. Man, I was waiting until that sun was high in the sky before I rolled out of bed. So I'm feeling back energized, but what do we do now? I guess go on vacation.
Yes.
That's what it's looking like for both of us.
Yeah, we're going to some sunny places here in the next couple of weeks. So that's it. Before we go, though, I want to thank Graham Auto Mall once again, sponsoring this whole show this year, allowing us to bring you all these highlights, these diamond cuts, these talk of the town shout-outs, the greatest hits, everything for baseball and softball, because there's not anybody else in the state that does stuff like a show like this. So thank you to them for allowing us to bring you baseball and softball out here, my favorite sports. Also, we're kind of not done, because you're going to see me on Facebook over the next few weeks, because now it's your turn to vote for Brian's diamond cuts to see who gets diamond cut of the year. So starting on Monday, we will go each episode per day next week. You get to vote on that, and then the 6 winners will go in for diamond cut of the year in a couple of weeks. Also, chart topper of the year will come out here in the next few weeks, as well as our compilation of Talk of the Town. So we may be done with shows, but we will still have a lot coming your way. Once again, thanks to the fine folks at Graham Auto Mall. But that's it, sir. Another.
Oh, handshake. How do we? We're white. We don't know what we're doing.
We're white.
We'll work on these handshake gestures.
But yeah, another phenomenal season baseball. What another great year for the OH Report. How many million views did we just hear we had?
Jory?
Over 38 million.
I can't process that for high school sports.
I don't.
So,
that's crazy.
I hear it all the time out in the field, and people say how lucky that our area is that they have coverage like this, but we don't really have an area anymore.
No.
We are covering everywhere all the time, especially at the state championships. So this thing just keeps growing like crazy, but we couldn't do it without you, the fans. So thank you guys for tuning in to everything that we do, keeping up, sharing all of our posts, liking everything. It's been a super rewarding season, and by far, I think probably twice as many views this year as our second best year ever.
Yeah.
So I think we indeed are the future of local sports.
And a little teaser, we may be branching out to more schools next season, so just find out. But we're going to go. We need a vacation. We get at least a couple weeks before we get back into it. But
I gotta learn
you see
how to
us out
hula.
you see us on a beach, you see us out on the street, say hello. We'll say hello back, and we'll talk about the season. But for now, that's Brian Skowronski. I am Big League Berardi, closing things out for another season of the Roundup with me, Big League. We will see you on a live stream near you coming up in a few weeks.